I am pleased to introduce today's speakers. Eva Quesada and Lucca Spendlingwimmer are both architects trained and graduated in Costa Rica. They founded Salagnac Arquitectos in 2006 with the intention of supporting construction projects that develop and contribute to the evolution of contemporary tropical architecture, which we're going to hear more about shortly. Each of Salagnac Arquitectos' projects is unique and inimitable, carefully developed through architectonic analysis and research. The constant search for alternative construction materials and systems allows Salagnac Arquitectos to develop projects with a high level of design and spatial quality. Their approach is exemplified in the Loma Sagrada House, which clinched an A+Award in the Best Extra-Large Private Residence category this year. But I'll leave it to Lucca and Eva to tell you more about that. Without further ado, I am delighted to welcome today's guests to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Hannah.
Hello. Thank you.
Hi, everyone around the globe. It's such an amazing experience to be here, connected with so many people from all over. And we are very excited to share with you an idea that could help us connect with nature and heal in a way. First, I want to, let me move to the next one. We are located in Costa Rica, here in the belly bottom of Central America. This is a small but beautiful country. We have ocean on two sides, and we have Nicaragua and Panama on the borders. Costa Rica is known for the abolition of the army in 1948, 70 years ago. Our country decided to invest in education instead of armed forces. Costa Rica holds 5% of the army, 5% of the biodiversity, 5% of the biodiversity of the planet. And we have 0.03% of the land, of the surface of the planet. This means 500,000 species in a tiny, tiny little paradise. We are also known to be a happy country. We are always listed as one of the happiest countries in the world. And I don't want you to be confused. We have many troubles. We have challenges like every country. But today, we want to share the positive things about our culture and our country. This is where our office is. We are located in Nicoya. This is one of the blue zones of the world. Blue zones are places where people live longer and healthier. These adults are from our community, live over 100 years riding horses, working, staying mentally clear, and the main reason of this longevity is a lifestyle in deep connection with nature and a culture of happiness. I want you, if you have a paper right now next to you, I want you to write these three sentences or words. The first one is connection with nature, happiness, and there is a third one, simplicity, because the lifestyle of these people is very, very simple. This is a nice view of the ocean in the blue zone. And beside the live example of our elder people in Nicoya, we also want to refer to multiple scientific studies that show the positive effects of nature in human health or negative impact of nature disconnection. Here are a few that may sound familiar to you. Stress, bad sleep, depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, weakness of the immune system, obesity, ADHD, especially in children, emotional disorders. In relation to productivity, the researchers have shown less creativity and less capacity to solve problems. We are spending more time on virtual world and disconnecting from the ecosystem. And it is proved that this is harming us. So what can we learn of this context? How can we integrate the Nicoyano way of living into our modern life and into contemporary architecture? In this image, we may find some clues. People live most of the time outside in connection to nature. Do you see the two ladies and the round thing that is behind them? Guess what that is? That's an oven. And it's in the middle of the garden. And that's where they cook every day, where they have their parties. It's on the outside, and that is the lifestyle they have every day. Then, of course, the connection with animals, the connection with their food. And if we observe architecture, what do we see? Simplicity, beauty, natural materials, ventilation, strategies, vernacular bioclimatic strategies in a very, very simple way. The secrets of health and happiness are here, and we are trying to use architecture to get us closer to this life experience. This is one of our latest projects, Loma Sagrada. It's been recently awarded by Architizer, and we will use it as a case of a study for this topic. Connecting with nature through architecture, enhancing health, sustainability, and well-being. In Loma Sagrada, we want to show how these strategies that connect human with nature bring health to the users and also heal our planet. This idea of human health through nature aligns in every way with sustainability. Loma Sagrada means sacred hill. These pictures are before and after construction. When we started the project, the hill was devastated by cow farming, and the picture on the right shows the amazing regeneration of the property after the construction. This was about, now we were discussing about, was 2 years, was 3 years, but even if it was 3 years, it was an amazing, amazing recovery of the land. Environment in tropical zones is very fragile. However, it's very resilient and strong to grow and recover. To get you familiar with the project it's in a 3-hectare property and has different buildings. The main house, the one that we're gonna explore more, is the white roof that you see. That's the roof is covered with a white stone that is very light to protect it from the sun. And then a little lower is the area where we have the pool, we have a yoga pavilion. Then on the lower part, we have the herbs and food production on the lower part. And then on the left, like a round little thing, that's a temple made with traditional material. And then on the up to the left, we have a guardhouse.
And the chicken.
And the chicken cooks. We have chicken also here in this project. And all these buildings are connected through trails, through the gardens, and through the forest that is now growing in the property. We will talk now a little bit about the analysis and the design proposal. To start connecting with nature, we observe, explore, and understand what is happening in the land. This is how a cow field looks like here in the summer. Loma Sagrada was very, very exposed to the sun with few trees, with very, very high temperatures. In the summer, we have very strong winds. That's very important to understand for the next phase of the presentation. And these winds can be very uncomfortable because they are very strong and warm. However, the views are beautiful. In the summer, we have many trees blooming, and in the winter, everything turns green, and we have so many beautiful productions and fruit trees and birds and nature coming. Cow production is very traditional here where we are in Guanacaste. And you know, this activity keeps the land deforested. Another condition was the steepness of most of the land and the difficult access. And not only the property was very steep, I mean, access in rural areas in Costa Rica can be challenging to bring qualified construction workers, materials, or equipment, for example. The goal was to have a house that was comfortable, natural ventilated, and that allowed the users to spend time in the outdoor and gardens. For this, we proposed the building, the main house, to be located in the steep part of the hill. This hill, you know, it's not a huge hill. Actually, the upper part is maybe 40 meters over the ocean. It's a hill that goes up in the same property, up and down, like this. So we located the house on one side of the building. In this section, we see half of the hill. On the upper part, we have a flat area that probably has 10 meters of width, and then it drops down again. Normally, the main building would be on the upper part of the land to get better view and use a flatter area to build, but it's not the case. There was two reasons to locate the main house here. The first one was to leave the upper part of the property free for gardens and for walking and for connecting to nature. So if you wrote it in your paper that I told you, we want to connect with nature. And that was one of the points of this project and also the owners of this project. The second reason to locate the building there is to protect it from the wind. So you see that red line that is on the upper part, that is the wind that can be very strong and that can be very warm. Then we created a space in between the upper part and the house for a forest to grow and for gardens to grow that cool downs the air that then goes into the house. So this is a natural cooling system that allows the building to stay open, to basically to have a good temperature so that it can stay open during the day and the night even more. Then we have cross ventilation underneath, and then that would be the way we solve this. And then a very, very important thing was not touching the ground so much. And that is, I think, one of the main reasons why the property was able to recover so fast, even during construction. So if you see, this is the same structure that goes all along the building, and it only touches the ground in 2 points. So that means that the rest of the property is staying completely natural. Actually, the whole property is staying like it was naturally. We didn't touch the surface of the air of the ground, so all the plants could grow and develop faster. This would be that section, seeing the building from the side. You can remember the vertical, the V form. Here we see the garden. So this picture is taken from the air conditioning system. So we are here under the trees, right? This is the air conditioning system where we are standing in the garden, where we create this feeling of a lower temperature, and this is the air that is going in the house. And this situation happens all along the house. So every bedroom and every space is naturally cooled and naturally ventilated. This is the hallway. So on the left, we have, I will keep it calling it the cooling system, is the garden. And then to the right, we have the spaces, and here we have this hallway. This hallway It has a screen system that you can pull down. We have a lot of insects here, and so you can pull it down or you can pull it up in the moments when you don't have insects. And this is the same corridor view on the opposite direction. This is one of the bedrooms, and I want you to see to the right. You see straight into the garden that is on the hill, on the slope, that garden that is growing. And then on the left, we have these doors that are allowing this cross ventilation. And also these sliding doors help us to decide how much ventilation we want, or if we only want the cool air that is coming from the forest, or if we just want to cross ventilate it, because sometimes we can have rain, or we can have any reason to decide to close this side. And this is the same bedroom on the opposite view, on the opposite direction. This is a picture of the structure under the main house. All this is made with laminated wood. Here we see the two-point connection. So on the lower part, the black base foundation, and then on the upper part is the other point that we are touching. And then you see the slope that was kept natural. This is a close-up of this V structure with wood concrete base. We are very close to the ocean, so this structure in wood is very convenient. It's very resistant to the ocean breeze, and it's beautiful too. This is an aerial view. Here we are showing the pool and the yoga area on the left, on the upper part of the hill. And then as the hill drops down, we see the main house. It doesn't look so much in this image, but we have a difference of about 5 meters from the upper part of the hill to the floor of the house. So it's a big difference, and we are using all that forest that is growing in between the yoga pavilion and the house to create this protection for the main house. This is a close-up of the pool area, the yoga area. And it is very important that these buildings were all split out through the property. For example, the food production and the yoga, the other pavilion for yoga, it's also very far. So people walk and spend time outside and experience. And as you walk through all these forests and gardens that have been designed by an amazing landscape company in Costa Rica called Vida, you pick up fruits and you select herbs, and you see birds, you discover a new tree. Lucca is a specialist in trees. He loves to go there with the client. Oh, this is this tree and this is this tree, and everything is being grown. Some of them are being planted, but many grew there naturally. This is that space that is in between, for example, the yoga space and the little gazebo that is next to the pool. And then we have these gardens in between. This is the yoga. This is the yoga pavilion. We designed it. I'm going to move this like a, ¿cómo se dice? Un gift. Like a gift. GIF. You see how the right image closes and opens? These are two, the image on the right, it's a structure, a wood structure that has the same design, the same size, and as they move, they close, like my fingers are closing right now. And these kind of elements that are here made locally with the materials that we have, with the handwork that we have, are very, very simple design elements that are thought to solve situations like, for example, the wind that we get here, or the excess of light sometimes, so we have to close the space to protect. And this is the ranchito. This space is inspired in vernacular architecture. This kind of building keeps in a very good temperature. That hole that you see in the center, it's for fire. It's for a fire pit. And this place was created for meditation. And one interesting thing about this building is that the stone that is put on the floor doesn't have concrete underneath. Is put directly on the ground. And the idea of this was to ground your body when you are meditating. And for those that are not familiar with this idea of grounding, is the need of the body to connect with earth, to align your energy with the energy of the planet, and to take away all your bad energies too, I guess. So this was very interesting, and since the rest of the buildings of the project are elevated on stilts, this was an opportunity to have a building that was grounded and that could give this opportunity to the owners and the people that comes here to do practice. Here, we go back to the main house, to the house that is on the hill. And what we see here is a very modular and repetitive structure. And this was very important because we are working here on a very difficult land with difficulty of materials, and in a way to have a prefab system makes it easier to build, less expensive, and just to have one frame that repeats in every axis makes the project to be more feasible. Here we see the structure. So on the lower part, we see the foundations. We see that we have 1 point in each, 2 points in each of the axes. Then we see the wood structure. Then we see the building, and then on top we see the roof. One characteristics of these buildings, and you will see also in the buildings that Lucca will show, is that they are lineal. And this is very common in our traditional architecture because we use the cross ventilation in all of the spaces. So this was also a strategy to keep the building cooler. This is the process of construction. The process of construction, you see the sizes of the pieces of the laminated wood they're really big. And we used a crane there was a crane on top of the hill that was moving the pieces, and then there was these people connecting them, and all the pieces came to place on the exact size, and they were all the same pieces. So this was, very, very efficient construction and very repetitive. Also for inspection, we come to inspect one of the frames. Yes, the frame is correct. You can continue with the framing of the rest of the structure. So this is a method that we have used not only in this building, but also in other projects. And this is how you can see the connection from side to side in the building. Here we see, actually we are, if you were standing outside on the air and you're seeing the building, and then at the end you see the staircases that are coming from the pool area on the upper part of the property. This is another vision of this structure. Everything basically is wood in this house. We have metal and other materials, but mostly is wood. We will talk now about materials and how materials relate to the environment. We use as much as possible materials that are natural and local. The fact that materials are local connect us to what surrounds us. The natural resources that surround us become important and valuable. Natural materials used in architecture impact our senses and help us develop awareness and knowledge of nature. Each material has different characteristics like texture, smell, temperature, softness, hardness. When we build with natural materials, the users are basically touching nature all the time. And this connection happens if it's part of our daily experience. If we want to be like the older people of Nicoya, this is something that we have to do every day in our daily experience. We don't lie about materials. We don't like materials that are, oh, there was an insect coming to me. We don't like about materials. We don't like, for example, a tile that looks like wood or a wallpaper that looks like concrete. The material is the material. It smells like what it is. The temperature of it is what it is. And that is very important because that is the first connection that humans have with the nature of the materials. So it's the first thing, it's the first connection that we do between humans and nature. Well, this is the star material of the project. We used it in the structure. The structure is made of pine wood. The pine wood came from Chile, and it was, the structure is laminated in Costa Rica, and everything else is teak. All the wood for the floors, the smaller structures are also made in teak. Furniture, ceilings, walls. Wood is a renewable material. Plantations absorb carbon, helping to mitigate climate change. Wood plantations improve the air quality, filtering air pollution, help protect the land from erosion, create natural corridors for biodiversity. These plantations that we see in this picture are not so far from the project, and this is key for sustainability. We are using the material that you can almost see from your kitchen. And this is in the bedroom that faces to the ocean side. Wood has a healing effect in human. It doesn't have electromagnetic radiation, regulates humidity, and generates comfortable and calm environments, basic for human health. In this project, we also use natural stone. Natural stone doesn't contain substances that can be harmful to human. This is a natural stone from Costa Rica, a volcanic stone. It's called Piedra Sánchez. And the stone that we used in the temple, it's also a Costa Rican. It's a calcareous stone, and also from this area of the country. And the roof is a traditional material. It's a traditional technique also that connects us with our heritage and our culture. So, going back to your notes, if you took them, okay. Connection with nature, happiness, and simplicity. Lucca says I have to go faster. So we're going to talk about amazement and surprise, and that is what makes us happy. Amazement or surprise is a reaction that satisfies our emotion needs. Children and happy adults haven't lost this capacity of having fun and feeling excited about simple things. they can express it easily. And this happiness is basic for well-being and health. This is in the entrance of Loma Sagrada, 2 hummocks. It's a way to say you come down, you take it easy, and you have fun in this place. And this is as you enter the house, the first thing, and no matter how many times we go to this house, everybody goes straight, like a children, to discover what is there. How can I be so high? Am I gonna touch the palm, the leaves of the palms? And this is an amazing experience. It's like feeling on a tree house. And this is about happiness. This is the kitchen. And it's also an experience of being connected to nature. It's completely a space that is not common to be cooking completely on 3 sides, surrounded by nature. And what can I say about this? I'm just gonna say that when you're taking it on the top, you see the birds and you hear the monkeys and you see the trees that are blooming on the other side. And that is a moment of connection and happiness and experience, an inspiring experience. And this is where you work with your air-conditioned system on the back, with your trees. This is the natural air-conditioned system and the view of this amazing forest in the front. We create architecture that is simple and minimal, designed to frame and generate spaces that highlight nature as the star element. The reason for humans to be here is not the building, but their connection to nature. Nature is so unique and beautiful that it's impossible to compete with it. It's overwhelming responsibility to design in this environment. One must have the humility to recognize that nature is more beautiful and interesting than architecture. Architecture is there only to allow humans to enjoy and connect. And now I will give Lucca the time to speak about other projects that relate to the same concepts.
¿Se les va pasando?
Sí, yo te la voy pasando.
All right, as Evangelina, hi to everyone. As Evangelina said, I will talk a bit of some other projects and try to focus on the specific points about this conversation, about these points that Evangelina is talking. We cannot extend this to all the topics that these projects have, so we will try to be very focused on that. This first project that we can see in this image is a single family house. This project is called Casa Playa Negra, which
Perla
means yes Perla Negra, which means black pearl. As I said, it's a single family house. It's located, as you can see, very close to the ocean. That was a challenge on the selection of the material. And the main focus point, or the main element that we had here, was this wonderful forest of a very specific tree that is growing there. We can see those trees in these images. The concept of this project is the mimetism. Mimetism in architecture means imitating elements that are in the nature or in the environment. In this case, we were focusing on all these trees. They are all the same. It's a unique species that is there, and we were focusing on the verticality of these elements. From these trees are also growing a lot of vines, and so we took those elements and we tried to incorporate the building to blend with the nature that we had there. We were imitating the elements by the verticality of our columns, some of the slats that we have for ventilation, and some elements of the railings. this was to blend with vuelves en toquecito, and this was to blend with this. So about the strategies that we have been talking, they repeat also in this project. We have integration to the land with the elevated structure. The main material is wood. We choose the wood because we wanted a material that was resistant to the breeze. And the dark color that we used was also for the camouflage. And we also wanted to show a very sober character on the architecture. And talking about the experience, which is the other topic that we have.
Sorry. It's me. I'm moving
yes. Talking about the experience, the first experience that we have in this building is the access by crossing this bridge. So it's like I arrive to this house and I see this bridge and I have to go there. It's an experience. This house is about an experience where you discover different things. So as you move closer from that bridge, you can look down, you can look up to the canopy, and you can even touch a tree. And you see here the vertical elements that blend with the verticality of also the elements of the construction. That you lose a bit the sense, what is structure and what are the trees. And also, when you go closer to that, you have that amazing focus point of this natural element, which is the sea. As Evangelina was saying also in Loma Sagrada, is something that attracts you immediately. I want to cross that bridge and go to there. So now you can pass the other picture. So, and this is what I get before entering the main door of the house. I get to a space where I can see the rest of the house. This is an L shape. We don't see the other sides where the picture was taken, but from here we can see the structure of the house and we see how it is related to environment and some magical things that happen that sometimes are a bit unexpected. For example, all this reflection of the nature in the water. After then speaking about the interiors and some of the elements that we have for the comfort of the house, which is very important, is that we have very open spaces, we have cross ventilation, we can close these doors if the weather is a bit uncomfortable or we have strong winds. And then another very interesting element here is like the focus points and framing the nature. We can see in every direction, on the left, on the front, and on the sides, there is a frame of the nature of those amazing trees. About the simplicity, this is important in our architecture. Evangelina was also talking in Loma Sagrada. We have a modular system on the structure. This project is about experience of outdoor living. We can see here a design that shows that simplicity also in the distribution. Very open spaces on the first floor. And then we have more privacy on the second floor where we place the bedrooms. This other project is a school. This is a school that is called Casa de las Estrellas. It's also located in the Pacific coast, also very close to the ocean. And as you can see, also immersed in this amazing tropical forest. The concept of this project was to create a magical refuge in the forest for the kids that are going there. And this was a particular concept to also express that with the Waldorf philosophy, since this is a Waldorf school. The Waldorf school has philosophy has a very deep connection to nature. Waldorf philosophy is about learning by touching, is also feeling with our hearts and creating with our minds. So we had to reflect all this in this building. About the strategies, well, one of the first strategies and that we have been focusing here is that relation with the exterior. And here we can see that these kids, they have a direct connection to the outside. There is no, they don't have boundaries to just go in and out from that school. And you see also that this allows cross ventilation. We don't see the whole facade, but this is also an elongated facade. We saw it in the image in the previous. We also choose here the teak wood as the primary material. This was intentional, not only because it's a sustainable material, but also for softening the interaction of the kids with the building. They are learning by touching, so they are experiencing that feelings by touching these soft textures. We designed this project very natural in between the trees.
Paso a la próxima.
Sí, próxima. We were very careful here with the environment. There were many trees, and we were like building in between the trees. There is a separation on that white roof, which we did for the classrooms to provide more privacy. And then we can see the round roof. That is again a traditional roof. It's a structure, and all these structure are very organically ensuring the building respects all the surroundings and the connections allow that. About natural experience that we have been talking for these projects, the experience of the kids is very important on their early stages, and that connection with the nature. About this, what we can say about this picture is that these natural surroundings becomes a playground. We kept the most of the aspects of the landscape to blend with the tropical forest around. We kept this amazing tree, for example, and some others that are behind, that are native trees. And the daily activity of the children in this environment offers inspiring and formative experience. They get in touch with the ground. They sometimes climb on those trees. We hear from a teacher that they also jump from the windows. and all that kind of things. The kids, they are really free in this environment, and the connection with the interiors of the school. On the bioclimatic strategies we applied in this building, one of the principal characteristics is that we didn't use glass in this building. That can sound something simple, but I will challenge all the architects to do buildings without glass. So it needs a very good effort, a deep effort to comply with all the protection for the wind, climatization, protection from insects, and all the other things that we have to struggle here. In this section, we can also see that we have high ceilings to keep lower temperature. This allows also cross ventilation. We have a modular structure. Here we can see, in the other building it was not so clear, but here we can see all these series of frames that is a repetitive element, optimizing material and also efficiency during the construction. With these applications of these natural strategies, we created these healthy spaces for the kids for learning, where kids can breathe the same air that is in the exterior and have a constant connection with the outdoors. This connection, as we were saying before, are very important to keep the kids on a calm on their emotions. and of course they will be more concentrated in these classrooms than in an enclosed space. And one of the very important aspects showing in this picture or element is about the connection or the flow between interior and exterior that we have been constantly talking, and the connection with nature. In this image, we can see kids playing and transitioning from one space to another, creating an environment where boundaries disappear. This is very important to develop a sense of freedom in the kids. And, you know, the whole campus and the structure really becomes, as I was saying before, a big playground to run and to play free from the inside to the outside, and all that interaction that can happen in a campus like this. And then I think this is the last picture of this project. This is if we want to talk about simplicity of what Evangelina was also saying. With simplicity, we can create beautiful spaces with simple materials. We don't need ostentatious material to show magic in our spaces. This is a traditional structure. We call this a rancho, and it comes from the techniques that the Indians, the indigenous culture, were using as their way of living. This building has for the main structure rough, round, thick pieces, and the cover material is grass. The floor is also thick wood. This space is very ventilated. It keeps a very good temperature, and one of the experience being on a rancho like this that we cannot see in the picture is the smooth smell of grass that connects our senses to a pure natural experience. And the last project is our office where we work daily. This is located in Costa Rica, Pacific Coast, in a small town called Nosara. We are on a very rural environment. Some roads here are not paved yet, so we have to struggle.
I have to say many roads.
Many roads, yes. Mm-hmm. We have very high temperatures. This is very close where Loma Sagrada is also, so the environment is the same. So with all these considerations, our goal was to create a comfortable working space. That is what we wanted, a nice space to work for all of our collaborators and for us, of course. And with a strong connection to nature. And the essence of this building is on the use of the local materials to blend with the nature and also with the local traditions. We cannot go so deep on this, but I want to focus on a very strong characteristic in this building. It's about the material, and is the use of the wood on the main facade. This is a detail of vertical wooden lattice that wraps around the building, and it gives shades to protection, and while maintaining also the visual connection with the surroundings. We kept the natural borders of the wood, which are facing the outside, for a rustic contrast against the very clean lines that we have in that glass and that metal frames. You can continue. The northern facade is more open because we have less direct sunlight. About construction, we can observe also here the framing intention in the picture. We also created here a modular metal frame and repeated it along the structure. This saved us a lot of time on construction and also optimized the use of the material. So this also was repetitive as in the other buildings that we saw. Talking about experience, and in this case, experience of a working space. This is our main working area. an open space with a lot of natural light, designed for interaction between collaborators. They sometimes are around or they meet in one of the desks, but also this creates a private space for everyone where they can get very concentrated. On the left of this picture, very important, we can see that effect of the wood lattice shading the interiors. You can see the shades on the floor. By the way, our floor is wood. We take shoes off to enter the building, and everyone loves that. And everyone that comes to visit us, they also take the shoes off. It's a very nice, we're talking about feelings. That is one of the greatest feelings in this office. And this is a close-up of that internal garden that separates the interior air-conditioned space from the exterior, showing that relation of the interior and the exterior. This is a space that is constantly changing because we have the sun in the morning and we get all that shades going into the spaces, and those shades, they move. Sometimes we have very strong winds and rain, and we feel the protection of this skin. This is for us like our skin protection, and so it's just a great space when you look it from the inside to the outside, and when you also see it from the outside to the inside. You don't really know what's going on there, and you want to discover what's happening in the inside. This is some of the details. That transparency, talking a bit about that simplicity. Here we have these details on the left side. This is a comfortable working space, showing that transparency and simplicity on the design. In the center is a relaxing niche to take a rest. And the picture on the right is hard to tell from that picture, but this is again what we used it in Loma Sagrada and in the kids. This is also a swing in the entrance of our office. It's like a small terrace, and on both sides we have those swings. Everybody that comes there, they take it as a bench or they just play a little bit. So this is like part of that experience that we want to have in the buildings. And to finish with this, we have this is showing the 4 pictures. By looking on this, you can see all the similarities on the design and the use of material, long facades and all that. But as a conclusion, I want to say that through the 4 different projects we have showed today, we hope it's clear that we can innovate within our design approach, using the same concept and materials across a wide range of projects, whether it is a working space, a private home, a public building, or if it is an office like these cases. And whether we have a large or a small budget, the opportunity to enhance health, sustainability, and well-being lies in our commitment to work with sensitivity to the environment, and the last and very important, with design quality, which means effort and constant work, research, and innovation. Thank you. That's the final.
Thank you both so much. I have so many questions, and we are so close to being near the end of time, which just means we're going to have to continue this conversation in the future. This was such a wonderful presentation. Thank you both so much. And Lucca, we're going to have a whole nother conversation about the trees, because I have notes asking about some of these trees too. But anyways, thank you both so much for sharing, diving into the projects and your design approach. I just want to remind everyone that we have a poll open next to the questions tab. If you're interested in learning more about the A+ Awards, fill out that poll. And I think we're only going to have time for a couple of questions. So if we can try to keep the answers short, I can try to squeeze a couple in. One that I was wondering, and someone else asked, was someone's from Miami in the audience and mentioned about glass and hurricanes. And then someone else asked about natural disasters in Costa Rica and how your designs or engineering have to take into consideration any extreme weather, for example, especially with the wood.
Well, we are on a seismic zone. We are in the Pacific. We don't have direct hurricanes, but we have codes. We have codes here where we have to comply, and we work with structural engineers, and they take care of all that. It's a very technical approach to solve all that.
And also the structures that are made in wood
Are more flexible.
Actually are a great material for earthquakes. And
that makes sense. As someone, from central Canada, I didn't landlocked. I didn't realize that there weren't hurricanes, that wasn't a concern at all. Forgive my ignorance. I had one question. I wanted to congratulate you one more time on winning your A+ award for the best extra large residence. And I wanted to ask what winning the award meant to your team.
I think one of the most rewarding things about getting this kind of rewards is hearing other architects talking about your project. And this is important because right now we don't have teachers. And it is very important to hear the opinions of other architects and to realize the elements that we are doing good. And only architects have the judge and the knowledge to judge architecture. So in a way, it is very good. It is a way to tell us you're doing it good, keep going. And so we thank you for this.
That's so powerful. And it feels, for me, this has been so energizing to feel so connected with so many people around the world who are bringing different types of knowledge from where they're building and where they're designing. And you guys have been a perfect example of that. So thank you so much, Lucca and Eva and everyone at Salagnac Arquitectos. And someone has just said, my opinion is that your architecture is A+++++++++. So thank you for sharing everything today. And I hope to speak to you again soon. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.